how's it going? This video is part 2 of setting up our TOTOEBOX hydroponic LED grow light system. And if you guys missed part 1 of this video, I would encourage you to go and watch that one because we show you how to put the system together, how to plant the seeds and all that sort of stuff. And now this is part 2. So after you've planted your seeds and you have your system all together, we are now going to finish setting this system up and get it running. So if you guys are new to this channel, my name is Brittany. I do all kinds of gardening videos, DIY projects, unboxing and review videos of hydroponic systems and different products like that. So if that interests you guys, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you. So the next step in setting up our system here is to start adding the water and the nutrients to our system. So if you watched the previous video, you saw that we planted some seeds in this system and we soaked the soil sponges. So the soil sponges had to soak for 5 to 10 minutes. Then we put them into the baskets and we put our seeds in there, and that's all we had to do. There is no water in the bottom of the system or nutrients or anything yet. That's what we're going to do today. And the instructions for this system are very different than other systems that I've used, in that normally I put the water in right away and don't soak the soil sponges. The sponges just kind of soak in the water as they go. But this one suggests waiting until your seeds are up and germinated and starting to grow a little bit to put the water in the bottom. So that's what we're trying out with this system. So these seeds have been in this system for about 4 days. And some of them have sprouted and some of them have not. Now, in full transparency, my house is a very dry house because we heat our home with wood, with a wood fire. And so it tends to be very dry in my home. So I was a little nervous. And so occasionally, like once a day or so, or once every other day, I misted these with some water just from a spray bottle. Just real lightly, mist them a little bit. I wanted to make sure they weren't drying out because, like I said, my home is so dry during the winter time. So full disclosure, I did do that. I don't know, it depends on your home and how dry it is and what time of year it is and whether or not you would need to do that. But I wanted to make sure that these soil sponges weren't drying out. So let me pull you guys in a little bit closer and see what we got going on here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take all of the little domes off just so we can get a closer look at of our seeds here. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot going on, but back in these 3 pods back here, we have just the beginning stages of some germination. So these back 2 pods here are our red romaine lettuce, and then this one here is basil, and you can see he's just starting off and they're starting to grow. The rest of these don't really have anything going yet. There is no mold or anything growing on them, which is really nice. Sometimes you'll see like little fuzzy stuff starting to grow in them, and these don't have that, so that is really nice. Now, some seeds actually take longer to germinate than other seeds, and you can kind of start to know them a little bit as you are growing different things and as you use the same seeds over and over again. Like for me, I know that this red romaine lettuce that's up right now comes up very quickly, as opposed to my green romaine lettuce that's on this side. This one takes almost a full week to start to germinate. Now, I could technically wait until all of these start to germinate, or until most of them start to germinate, to put the water in. And I would say that's probably what the company suggests. But I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with water today because I really want to get the grow light going for those few things that have sprouted. Plus, I want to show you guys how to set up your system. And I feel like if I wait too long, you guys might miss this step. So the first thing that we're going to do is fill this reservoir up with water. Now this reservoir is a 6.5 liter tank, so that's how much water it's going to hold. So we're going to put 6.5 liters of water in this first. And on the top of the system, right here, this little gray kind of thing, it simply slides to the side and we can pour our water right in there. You can also take the top off and pour the water in that way if you'd like, but then sometimes it's hard to like set this down somewhere without disrupting all of your baskets. So you can simply just open the little water hole and pour it in. Okay, so now that our system is all filled up with water, I have it to the max fill line that I can see here on the front of the system. I don't know if you guys can see that in the camera or not, but I have it all filled up to the 6.5 liter mark. So the next step is going ahead and adding the nutrients to our water. So I went ahead and linked nutrients in the previous video, in the description of the previous video, and I'll link them here in this video as well, because my system here did not come with any nutrients, and I found some online for you guys if you need to purchase some. Here today, what I'm going to be using is ones that I have on hand from another system that I used. They're all pretty similar, so you can go ahead and just use what you have on hand if you already have some plant nutrients for a hydroponic system. So generally what they suggest for a hydroponic system is 5 milliliters of A and B solution each in 1 liter of water. So we have 6.5 liters of water in this system. So what that means is we're going to put 35 milliliters each of A and B solution into our water here. And then we can just let the pump run and mix it up, or you can take the top off and mix it around, either one. The pump does a pretty good job of circulating things, but if you want to be thorough, you can go ahead and mix it yourself. So I have my B solution here first, and these ones that I have here come with like measuring caps, so I can go ahead and just measure into these, and each of these are 15 milliliters. So I can go ahead and pour that into my water. So I'm going to need 2 of these caps plus a little bit more. And then we're going to need the same amount, 35 milliliters of our other A nutrient solution. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my caps back on my seedlings and seeds. So I'm going to go ahead and put these back on the ones that have already sprouted, just because they're still pretty tiny. I like to take my caps off whenever I start to see the leaves kind of open up. And at this point, the leaves are still really closed. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the caps on just for another day or so until they start to look a little more open and like they're growing really well. So the last step to setting up this system is simply to plug it in. So we're going to take our power cord here that came with this system, and we are going to plug it in to this side over here. So our bottom piece plugs into our top piece on this side, and on this side our power cord plugs in. And I'm just going to go ahead, plug this in. Different systems do different things. Sometimes when you plug them in, they'll turn right on their own. So this one does that. I'm going to go ahead and lower the light bar. This was a really bright one. Holy cow. So automatically whenever you plug it in, this one's going to kick on, so you don't have to hit the power button. At this point, since we plugged this in, this has now started its own cycle. So it's going to start a cycle for the pump where it runs for 30 minutes and then shuts off for 30 minutes, and it will just continuously do that unless you change the setting. It will also run a, I believe it's a 16-hour on, 8-hour off light cycle. So it's usually between 16 and 14 hours. Some are a little bit different. It also depends on whether you pick the vegetable setting or the flower setting. And this one is set on vegetable right now, so I'm pretty sure it's 16 hours on, 8 hours off, but I might be wrong on that. It's something close to that. So from this point forward, your system is set up and ready to run on its own. If you want to change when your system turns on, all you need to do is turn it off, and then when you would like it to turn back on the next time, turn it on. So say, for example, you would like your system to kick on in the morning and be on most of the day and then kick off sometime at night. You would want to have your system off, and then in the morning when you want it to kick on, plug it in or turn it on. whichever one you want to do. So at that point, it'll set the timer, it'll run for 16 hours and then shut off for 8 and kick back on after those 8 hours. So that's how you're going to set your timers with these. It's pretty much all ran by itself. Now, the other thing that I want to discuss with this one that's cool that other ones that I have did not have is the Wi-Fi app. So it's pretty simple. You just download the app onto your phone. And inside the instructions here, it gives you all step-by-step instructions of how to download that app on your phone. So it's very simple. And from there, you can control whether the system turns on or off. You can control when the pump runs. You can control the light settings. So without even having to go over and mess with it, say you're up in bed and you realize, oh my goodness, I need to have it kick on at 8 o'clock. You can go ahead and set it from your bed upstairs. You won't even have to run down and turn it on or whatever you need to do. So that's a really cool feature. It kind of makes it even more hands-off, which is one of the things that I think makes these systems so easy, is you plant them up and you let them do their thing. They're already set for their light, they're already set for the water, they're already set for a fan, they got good circulation. And so if you just put eyes on them every couple days and make sure everything's going good and harvesting off of them, it's really self-sufficient and it's really great. The only other thing that you want to keep an eye on is the water level. So you want to make sure that this is staying full. You don't want the water level to ever drop past the bottom of the sponges. You want to make sure that they are constantly able to soak up the moisture. And that's really all you need to do with these. They're really quite fun. It's a really fun thing to do with kids, to set up a little tabletop garden and watch things grow, and they can harvest right off of their own counter. It's really quite cool. And you can teach them about hydroponics and how that works. How you can actually grow stuff in water, which is really fun. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I hope you watched the first one. If you did not, again, I'd encourage you to go back and watch the first one so that you can see how we set everything up to this point. And yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comment section below. I'd love to answer them. If I have a lot of the same questions, I'll even do like a question and answer video for you guys, which I have done one so far, and there's a lot of good information kind of across the board with hydroponics like this. So if you guys have any questions you'd like to just watch a Q&A video, there is one, and I'll go ahead and link that down below. Well, that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.